All right, so JC is going to be up next, and we're going to tackle a little bit more about organizing pictures and using albums and such. And then Angela, you're going to come back and talk to Tim about face tagging. So JC, we're going to talk about organizing, but let's not do face tagging because that's the very next segment. And Angela, we'll see you back in just a couple of minutes with Tim. Okay.
All right, sounds great.
Thanks. All right, JC. So we're going to tackle this. And before we jump in, as you're getting your screen ready, I'm just going to take a couple quick things and say some folks want to know about combining folders together. So maybe showing the clipboard would be good. And Mark was asking, are there any new specific features for video? We have added a few things with video. You'll see some better support for some of the stuff that the iPhones can shoot with some of the advanced codecs, as well as if you shot cinematic mode or other things, like there's a better handoff there. But beyond that, while you can apply filters and stuff to video, we don't export those currently, but we're aware of that. So we've got some of the underpinnings underway of handling video better, but we haven't completed that journey. So we're going to hand things off to JC here, and he's going to talk about some of the cool organizational tools in Mylio, because while having and protecting all your photos is important, being able to find them is equally important, because having it and not being able to find it is about one step away from losing it. So thank you, JC, and go for it.
Absolutely. So that is something that I always say. A photo is worth 1,000 words, but only if you can find it. And if you can't find it, it really doesn't matter. Those of you that have seen my videos or attended my webinars before know that I'm a huge fan of my daughter. And one of my favorite photos of my daughter that really kind of tells 1,000 words about who she is and her personality is this photo right here. I love this photo of her. And as you can tell, she has a really good sense of humor. And this was done, we had the great privilege of going to Fiji when she was about 8 years old. And we would walk by that sign every day. And on the last day we were there, she went and found a coconut and said, Dad, take a picture, take a picture. So I did. And it's one of my favorite photos. And with Mylio, it's really, really easy to find this photo in many different ways. So I'm going to show you a few different ways in which I can find the exact same photo. One of the way that I found this photo to begin with in the all photos view is because I have this photo rated as a 5-star photo. So all I did, and some of you might have noticed what I was doing on the screen here, is I went to my sorting for all the photos, and I sorted by rating in descending order. Then I went to the very top of the view, and all my 5-star photos show up at the top, and that happens to be one of the first ones. But there's other ways that I can find the same photo. If all I could remember was when this photo was taken, I could just simply go to the calendar and look for that photo. Now, she was about 8 years old, so that was in 2003. We went there right before her brother was born, so I can remember those details. So I can simply, in Mylio in the calendar view, just navigate to 2003. There's her brother being born. And it was, I think, in November. So if I go to November, I can now narrow down the days of the trip, and on the 27th, that photo is already highlighted. So I can go to that particular day and then find that photo. I don't see it. Where'd it go?
And it was in your sample library too.
It's right there. I knew I was missing it. It's right there, November 27th. So just using the calendar view and going roughly to a week of photos versus all 40,000 photos in my library, I can find that photo pretty easily. Now, you might have noticed that when I went here into 2003, and I'm just stepping back, there's a number of events listed for that year. And one of those events is Fiji 2003. If I were to click on that event in the calendar view, it will take me to all the photos in that view. And from here, I could just go and find that photo again. And if I wanted to make it even easier to find the photo, I could just sort by rating once more and go to the, well, in this case, it's in descending order. So go to the 5-star ratings, and there's the photo one more time. So in the calendar, I can find that photo with an event, or I can find that photo with the specific date, just because I remember those facts about the photo. So the calendar view is a place where you go to find a photo if you remember when the photo was taken. But we don't always remember when a photo happened. Sometimes what we remember is where we were when we took that photo. So let's go to the map view and do the same thing. Here's my map view. I've gone through a lot of geotagging, both manually or I have used different devices throughout my photo taking journey, both phone devices that have GPS data captured automatically. I've also owned some cameras where the GPS data gets captured by default. And both of those devices, because the data is already in your photo, when you import them into Mylio Photos, they automatically show up in the map view. For photos that don't have geotag data, I simply have captured those photos, lassoed them or selected multiple of them, dragging them into the map like we showed earlier, and I can show that again. So if I navigate here in the world view and I zoom in on the part of Fiji that has these photos, I can now click into a group of photos and I should be able to find that photo of the falling coconuts with my daughter underneath it pretty quickly. So yet another way of finding the same photo, instead of when it happened, is where it happened. Of course, the people view is going to let me find that photo based on who is in the photo. Because I have tagged all the people that are important in my life, and Mylio has aggregated the photos where that person appears and put them in one place, I can simply go to the letter S, to the letter M. I wasn't the letter S. Go to the letter N and find Madeline. And here I have 2,400 photos of her. I can open that up and I can then sort all the photos that I have of Madeline either by date created and try to go down to 2003.
Yep. And remember, JC, we're supposed to be going right into the face tagging and all that stuff next. So we've got another guest who's queued up for that. So don't go too deep here.
I won't spend too much time here, but I just want to show everybody that I can find that same photo here, especially if I sort by rating again and grab the 5-star photos from the very top. There is that photo of Madeline.
And folks, if you haven't done this before, JC, can you click on the ratings tag there in the toolbar so people see the controls that are available?
Absolutely. There's ways to rate and label a photo. You can also add a flag. If you have the details panel open, it shows you the same controls in a different way. And there's keyboard shortcuts for every single one of them. So for any photo, I can change the rating by clicking the stars, or I can go 1 through 5 for the different ratings. I can also use the keyboard numbers 6 through 0 for the different colors, starting with red on number 6 all the way to 0 on purple. Couple more ways to find.
Show us the one last method here. I think you're going to do some OCR search, and then we have to go on to Tim, who's standing by.
Absolutely. So last method is to just search for coconuts. And there's beware of falling coconuts. And of course, because that word is there, that is one of the photos that shows up.
Yeah, so, and you tagged a photo. You also could add manually words for coconut. And then I think, I'm betting, is that like a playlist or a menu there that has maybe a coconut?
Yeah, there's a menu that had the word coconut in it. And there's a toy that my son got. It was a fake toy, but it said that you could find this fake toy in different flavors. And one of the flavors was coconut. So Mylio read that tiny little text there, the word coconut, and that shows up in the coconut search. So lots of ways of finding the same photo. There's so much that you can do with search, and not just search, but filters. Filtering your library so that only certain photos show up is something that is really, really rewarding. And it really shows the power of Mylio, in which you can have all of your photos in one place. But if you only want to work with certain photos at any one time, you just apply a filter and then only have those photos. If we have time later today or at some point, I'll show you how to present a calendar view with only 2 people in the calendar showing us highlighted feature photos, but I don't want to take away from Tim's time.
Excellent. Well, JC, thank you. And JC will come back and visit, and he's also going to hang out in the chat pod and answer questions. Angela, I'm going to pass things over to you and Tim. And
right.
longtime Mylio users will notice that we've improved the tagging tools for people, including, if there's a high confidence that it's the person, we automatically put it in with the person. You can always override it, but it's faster to tag people now. So I'm going to just head on out and let you guys dig into this a little bit and teach us a little bit more about face tagging.